In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 7 reasons why you need to be playing one of the best games of the year, Soccer Wars. I think way too many people are overlooking this game, so let's get started. Hey everyone, my name's Taylor and welcome to the Gaming Shelf. If you love JRPGs and want to stay up to date with the latest news, reviews, and other fun videos just like this, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. So Soccer Wars came out a little while ago and it is one of my favorite games of 2020. I'm having so much fun with it. I already beat it. I'm going for the platinum right now, and I think way more people need to know about this game. I think it got overlooked, with Final Fantasy VII Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake, and even Trials of Mana to an extent. So I'm going to share with you 7 reasons why you need to be playing it, and let's get started with the number 1 reason, and that is the characters. So for those of you that don't know, Soccer Wars is kind of a visual novel dating sim crossed over with an action RPG. So in the game there are 5 girls that you can fight alongside with in your mechs, but also ones that you can kind of date in a sense, and ones that you're going to interact with the most through the story. And of course the main love interest is Sakura. She's your childhood friend, very cutesy. The game really pushes her, and I think it's the canon heroine that you're supposed to be with, but of course you can make your own choices, and that's what makes the game great. Now my favorite was Claris. She's sort of the cute bookworm, and she also writes some plays throughout the game. She's just so innocent, super cute, and she uses like books to do damage, which is kind of interesting. She's sort of like a mage, sort of a caster. And then of course you've got the kind of a tsundere, Hatsuno. She's tough, but also kind of has a cute side. I really liked her, really strong in battle. Azami is kind of like a lolly ninja, little girl ninja. She kind of has this stern look. She doesn't really find comedy too appealing. She's very straight-laced, sticks to her ninja rules. So probably the least popular of the 5 girls. And then you have Anastasia, who is the mature, older one. She teaches the team how to act a little bit more. She is like kind of an international star. And then she comes on and joins the team later on. Now you'll have chances to interact with them all throughout the story. You'll be playing and walking around and doing story, and then you get choices and you get to see how these characters interact and react to all the things that you're saying and doing and things that are happening in the story. And of course you get moments that I'll get to in a little bit where you can interact with them even more and you get to know them in really deep ways. And the supporting cast is really awesome as well. Whether you're going to get snacks in downtown or buying from the shop in the theater, or you're super fan, there are just some great characters throughout the game. And for those that pay attention that are longtime Soccer Wars fans, Sumire, the leader of the theater and the leader of your group, she is from a past Soccer Wars game, so it's kind of cool to see them bring back old characters in new ways. Now the second reason is the story. Now really, that's why you're going to be playing this game. You're going to be playing it for the story and how you interact with it. Of course, there is good combat, which I'll get to, but you really have to come to this game for the story and for the characters. So the story is that you come in, you're trying to revive the Flower Division of the Imperial Combat Review. Now the Flower Division runs the Imperial Theater, and it's kind of gone to shambles. It's kind of old. Nobody comes to their plays. The plays are bad. And so you come in and not only need to revamp them in combat, but also with their theater troupe and getting better audience, getting more interesting plays, and just having a better theater to kind of revive it back to its former glory. And on top of that, this game is just hilarious. I found myself laughing out loud a lot in this game. Now it's a lot of like anime humor, there's like the baths, like there's all girls on your team, so inevitably you're gonna end up in the bath and hijinks will ensue. But of course you have the choices to say funny things. Whenever you're talking, you get the opportunity to make different choices. How am I gonna react to this situation? So it's really funny to like pick the funny choices and just sort of see what happens. But of course this all contributes to points that will affect the game later on, but really you can have some opportunity to play around a little bit and it won't affect you too much. And you may have picked this up in the trailers, but there is a tournament arc in the game. There is an arc where all the different countries bring their combat review to Japan, and you have to fight them through the course of a tournament. It's super fun. Everything that you love from a tournament arc in an anime or a movie or a TV show, it's all there. The build-up, the agony of defeat for the other team, and it's just really fun. I loved that part of the game. And honestly, the story is a little cheesy. There's definitely Power of Friendship vibes all through the game. There's definitely Power Rangers and Voltron vibes. If you've ever watched those shows, of course, you're dressing up in your outfits that match the color of your mechs that you'll fight with. So it's hard not to get a little cheesy, but you have to love that stuff if you want to play this game. I mean, I personally love that, and it really strengthened my enjoyment of the game, and I just loved it that much more. And the number 3 reason is the music. The music in this game is absolutely incredible, and it all starts with that main theme. You'll get addicted to it, and whether you like it or not, because it'll play at the beginning, it plays on the credits screen, but then it'll play quite a bit through the course of the story, whether it's in a hype moment or in between chapters. They kind of have these chapter breaks where the song will play again. So whether you like it or not, that song is going to get stuck in your head and you're going to be humming it a lot, because I definitely did. Now, of course, there's plenty of other songs that play throughout, like the combat theme and whatnot, but what I really loved are the more subtle, kind of cozy songs, and there's one particular track that plays, that I'll be playing right now, during conversation segments, that's like this really neat jazz song, and I just loved it. It really set the vibe, it really set the tone of what's going on, because of course this is not in modern day, it's in 1940s Japan, so that jazz music kind of fits the vibe of the world and the setting that's going on at the time. And I could sit here all day listing off the great music tracks, but really I would go and search the OST on YouTube and just kind of go through it. There are so many good ones, and of course each character has their own theme, and those are all fantastic as well. So if you love a good video game soundtrack, definitely give this one a listen because it's pretty awesome. And reason number 4 is mech combat. Now, truthfully, this doesn't make up that much of the game to begin with, but as the game goes on, you'll be fighting a lot more, and you'll get access to these things called bot battles, where you can kind of practice in like a VR simulator type of thing. And it's kind of cool to replay missions from the story with different characters than what the story gave you originally. Now, at first it might seem a little simple, a little rigid, but as you get to play as different characters, you'll definitely find one that you like and end up choosing them throughout the game, throughout the tournament, and through other segments of the game. And it's not simple hack and slash all the time. You have to be mindful of your health, you have to be mindful of your super meter, and that builds up as you collect these kind of blue orbs, and you can beat enemies to gain those. There'll be these purple gems that if you destroy those, they'll drop from there. So you have to kind of be mindful of when is the best opportunity to use these gems, these super moves. And then you also have team up moves where you can increase your damage output, and you get fun little cutscenes. So the combat really evolves as the game goes on. It's just fun to fight as a giant mech fighting demons. I mean, who doesn't love doing that? And something I said earlier for number 5 is the setting. Like I said, it takes place in 1940s Japan. It was just a really neat era for a game to take place in because not many games take place in this era like this. It was just neat to see different kinds of outfits and, a lot of kimonos and a lot of old-fashioned attire like suits and hats and simple dresses and stuff. I don't know, it was just really fun as I'm walking around the different areas just to see how everything's decorated, to see how people are dressed up. It was just a really neat aesthetic and something, like I said, that is not well explored in games, and I really hope we get a chance to do more games in this era. All right, reason number 6 is it just feels like you're playing an anime. Now, of course, not only because it looks like an anime, it's got an anime style aesthetic, and the story is very anime, very over the top, very cliche, it has a lot of tropes, but also in between chapters, there's sort of a next time on Sakura Wars segment where you get a preview of what happens in the next chapter. And honestly, those are really great points in the game to stop. I found myself, playing through the game, and whenever I came up to an intermission or one of those next time on Sakura Wars segments, I would just turn the game off and play it the next day. Now, of course, you can save it whenever you want. You can turn the game off whenever you want. But I found like those were really great points in the story to stop because you got a taste of what's to come, something to look forward to, and you could just pick up at a nice stopping point. And then also, it just feels like it has the ups and downs of a typical anime season. There's plot twists, there's new characters, there's peaks, the valleys and lows, and it's just really fun. There's a lot that happens in this story, and new characters come along all the time, and you'll have your favorites, and it's just really neat to get to know all the different characters as they come along, just to see how they shape, how they come and go. You hear people say that term a lot. It feels like playing an anime, and even games based on animes don't feel like you're actually playing them because it's usually like an arena fighter or an RPG that doesn't really have great elements. But this one feels like it because of how much you interact with the story. You get to have dialogue choices as you're talking to different characters and how you get to shape the story in your own way. It's just really, really neat. And last but certainly not least, reason number 7 that you should be playing Sakura Wars is the Tete-a-Tete events. Now, what are these? You may have seen these in the trailers, but I need to tell you about these in more detail. So these are moments throughout the game where you get to know each of the 5 girls in a little bit more of an intimate way. Now there's one for each character, and they're kind of one per chapter as you go through the game. And these are moments where the girls sort of bare their heart to you. They share their insecurities and you get an opportunity to comfort them. And it's really when you get to know them in a deeper way. And of course, the game creates these scenarios where they get really close to you, and it feels kind of intense, and it might feel kind of weird if you're playing with another person, honestly. But it's where, you get to click on their eye and go, wow, you have really pretty eyes, or click on their hair and go, wow, you have really shiny hair. It sounds weird, and it kind of is, if I'm being honest, but it was just a neat way to get to know all these different characters. And you get to pick who your favorite character is, who your favorite girl is, kind of near the end of the game, and it shapes the story. So these tete-a-tete events give you the opportunity to get to know each of these characters in deeper ways and know like who really is my favorite, are the things that I've been learning about them through the story. And in these events, you really get to see a different side of them, especially Hatsuo, and I'm not going to ruin it, but you really get to see different sides of them, and it's really interesting. It was really fun to go through those. And honestly, to me, what it felt like was the logical leap for Persona social links. You know, a lot of time in Persona, you're talking to your confidants or whatever, and you have these moments, but with this one, these are just extra intense. They're way more interactive. Honestly, I just had fun with them. There's opportunities to be goofy and weird, but then opportunities to be sweet and really get to know these characters in ways that you can't anywhere else in the game. So hopefully these 7 reasons have shed some light on why you need to be playing Sakura Wars. Like I said, it is one of my favorite games of the year, right next to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I loved all the characters, I loved the combat, I just loved how it meshed all these different elements together into one fantastic game. I played it for over 25 hours and I'm already going back to do all the different things for the Platinum. It's just a super fun game and you should totally be playing it. Now, if you want to know about another JRPG that you should definitely be playing as well, make sure you check out my review for Trials of Mana. It's a super awesome action RPG and an awesome remake of a Super Nintendo classic. Make sure you check that out. And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest in JRPG news, reviews, and other fun videos, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.